Hello, I'm Dave Speakman. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Got my friend Guy Thackam here today from the band Shadow Guise
and Papa Bones.
Guy's a very regular client of the studio and he's recently bought this Vibro Champ. We talked about amplifiers. He's been using my Champ and, well, we've got loads of guitar amplifiers here at the studio, but you've been using all of the amps really to get a sound.
Pretty much, yeah.
You were after a practice amp essentially, something to get some decent sounds at home, weren't you?
Yeah, well, I was using your Champ. I just wanted to basically downsize on the weight mainly. I wanted a nice light amplifier, so...
Because you had a Hot Rod
Deluxe, like a version 3. Which is it's a wicked amp, but I wanted something lighter. I want something I can use at home, use all the time at home, without upsetting the neighbours. And after playing on your Champ, loved it.
So my Champ's actually an original Silverface Champ. I think it's 1974. It's actually been put to blackface specs though, and it's been recapped. All sorts of done to it. It's probably, in all honesty, had as much money spent on it as buying one of them new. So you know, I've owned it for quite a while. It's a good little amp. There's a couple of peculiarities with it. I've had it switched on for about an hour because it doesn't sound very good for about, I would say, the first 20-25 minutes.
A good warming up, doesn't it, that one?
Whereas this is more or less...
It is instant. It's still got a little bit of a slow start on it, which is unusual. I don't know if they're just trying to literally make it feel a bit like the old one, because it doesn't start instantly. It's got like a slow volume push on it, but you're in there within sort of a minute, 60 seconds.
For the geeky amongst you, the new Vibro Champs are actually solid state rectified, whereas the original ones were valve rectified. In terms of sound difference, it maybe makes it a little bit firmer to play, but I don't know.
Your old one's a lot louder, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Well, certainly on certain settings. It's really interesting because when I look at how Guy has the tone circuit set, the tone controls set, I think it looks wild because I'm used to using predominantly hand-wired older amplifiers. But I think they've really tweaked the tone circuit in this to make it usable across all ranges. Whereas on the original ones, you'd very rarely put the bass control past 5 on a sort of blackface amp. It's just, you know, it tends to live in the lower ranges. Personally, that's what I found. I mean, there are always instances where you end up doing different things. This has a reverb built in, which... This is a Champ, it's not a Vibro Champ, but the original Vibro Champs didn't have reverb.
No.
But it's actually, it's a digital reverb, isn't it, that they've put in?
It is a digital reverb. I think it's a tube-driven trem on it.
Yes.
But it is a digital reverb. So anything, unless you want something cavernous sounding, anything over sort of 3, it's starting to...
And it sounds like a hall program to me, so it's not a spring program, is it? It's more like a hall sound.
Yeah.
It's usable, isn't it? Quite nice for a practice amp.
It's fantastic. You can sort of get that sort of Jeff Buckley kind of vibe about it, which is brilliant. Yeah. At very low volume as well. So you get that break up nice and early, and they're still at low volume.
Let's listen to some more things then. So I'm going to turn the tremolo off for now, and I'm just going to set the bass and treble at 5, and I'll turn the reverb off. The volume's around 4, so. Great, okay. What I'll do is I'll quickly, let's just swap over to this. I'm going to have to move these microphones. I've only set one set of mics up. The microphones today, we're just using an SM57 and a Sennheiser MD421 taped together. I like the way that sounds. It's worth noting as well, actually, I changed the speaker in my Champ for a couple of reasons. Both because the original speaker that came with it was terrible, and also because it's just to preserve it, because it gets leathered a lot at the studio. So the old speakers in the loft at home, for if I ever want to sell it, I can sell it as completely original. Any parts that I've changed I've kept as well, so I can always put it back to original if I want to. Cool, so we'll just do the same. I mean, this was on like 4.5, these are both 5. Maybe just play the same thing through this and see
if it reacts the same.
Can I have a go?
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of a tonal difference there.
And we'll go back over to the Vibro Champ.
What's your net pickup? What have you got in that?
The pickups in this are those Seymour Duncan Antiquities.
It seemed to just have a little bit more bite in your neck pickup. I prefer the tone of your neck pickup to this. I don't know what came in this standard.
Yeah, the pickup they're quite expensive pickups. I think the pickup for about 350 quid.
Mm.
These are the Surfer set. I quite like them. I've gone round the houses with all sorts of pickups over the year, and overwound, noiseless, and all sorts of stuff. These are noisy. They're definitely not noiseless, but they kind of have that classic Strat sound, I think. You know.
Yeah, definitely does.
So it sounds a little bit cleaner at this setting, doesn't it? We'll just go back over to the original Champ. I mean, it's worth noting as well that, I mean, volume settings on amps, the potentiometers have such difference in them that even on the same, if it was the same amp set at the same volume, it's not necessarily going to be the same volume. So. Go to like a it's these two pickups, the neck and middle. I'm just going to give it a bit more beans. So this is the original Champ on 6. It's funny, I've been playing through my Plexi a lot. It's so quiet. That's cool.
Be interested to see them both maxed out as well, seeing how they actually respond then.
So we'll put this one back onto 6. Now, I think the tone circuitry is very different in these. I think that's the main thing I notice actually as well.
Volume. There's a huge difference in the volume.
Yeah, it's quiet, but circuit-wise, it's quieter, isn't it? That's more. I'd say that's more overdriven now. We've only gone up one thing. It's quite interesting.
Past 5, you get a lot more breakup in the reissue than you do the original. I combat that by using it with my HX Stomp, which I then use the master volume on the HX Stomp, have that a little bit quieter, boost it on the HX Stomp, and still keeping the clean sound.
So it must be introducing a bit of preamp distortion there, which the preamp distortion in the original Champs is quite low. Really, you don't get much
because you might be pushing. Realistically, you're going to struggle with the drum kit with the reissue. You couldn't really jam it with a kit.
Amp,
Yeah, it is a practice amp, but it's a beautiful sounding practice amp. So.
Yeah, no. Just roll the tone off a. Yeah, there's some very usable sounds, isn't there? And then of course you got the added bonus that you could put a touch of reverb in. Maybe a bit less.
Yeah.
I think it kind of sounds a little bit fuller, which, interestingly enough, when I see you using this amp, you tend to have the bass lower, don't you, and the treble a little bit higher.
I can really tell the difference between our pickups, though, because I'm so used to hearing the amplifier. I can really hear a big tonality difference just between our neck pickups. So
let's just. So that's brightened it up a bit. I've just backed the bass off a bit and taken the treble up. Swap it over once more, and then. See, this seems quieter now. So. Take the bass down a little bit. Go on, you have a bass with it again. Well, to me that sounds now, it's like that classic single-ended power amp distortion. It almost sounds like it's collapsing in on itself, you know. Let's go over to the Vibro Champ. I think the main thing I notice is your pickups have got a much higher output, haven't they? And I think my pickups are perhaps a little brighter.
I think they are a touch brighter, which I really like, actually. Hence why I came, and the amp was set on the treble on that particularly high.
I see, yeah.
Sort of compensating.
It's worth noting as well that although it's a practice amp, you'd have to have very reasonable neighbours for that to be the volume that you were practicing at.
What are we at there?
Yeah, we were at 7 there.
7. So yeah, I mean, it's still, you've got a bit more headroom in that yet.
Yeah.
And that little bit more breakup as well.
Yeah.
You give it a bit of a boost.
Cool. Should we run them flat out?
Yeah, run them flat out and let's see. and do a side by side. It's quite an interesting one to see.
Yeah.
You're getting a little bit more breakup on the new.
Yeah.
And it's tighter. The distortion is
Yeah, well,
it's got a more modern tight.
I think I'm hearing a little bit more speaker breakup
I think
in
you're
the
right,
older
yeah.
Champ though. I mean, I know, like, I did a little bit of reading up on the gear page and things like that, and people do talk about swapping the speakers out in both of them, because I know it's an 8-inch speaker in this, but they've put a 10-inch speaker in the new Vibro Champ, haven't they? Which is definitely a good idea. I know a lot of the guys who build these amps from kits, etc. They put either 10 or 12-inch speakers in them. You know, you get sort of, you're just so used to playing with a 12 or a 10, really.
Yeah.
You know, you're not used to playing the guitar through an 8-inch speaker. Obviously, the sound's a little bit different. Should we clean it up and go through some of the sounds of the Tremolo?
And because that's where it kind of, the amp excels.
Let's go and have a go at listening to some of these Tremolo sounds. If you could like the video as well while you're listening to this, and if you're interested in this sort of stuff, do subscribe to the channel, because this is the sort of stuff that we do a lot of, really guitar related stuff, gear stuff. So do subscribe. So what sort of volume would you say?
I'd be having it around sort of 5 or 6. I like just a little bit. As soon as you pass 5, it's just breaking up a touch more.
Well, there's that thing that Matt Schofield said on once, where he said that, like, the volume control, it's not really a volume control. It's just another tone control, isn't it? And I mean, that's definitely true with a smaller amplifier.
So on this new reissue, you've got your speed and your intensity. So I tend to have my speed set to pretty much like 1 or 2, and then just dial in the intensity.
Okay, cool.
Which brings in some.
And what about the EQ? Where do you want that? Around where it is? Is that okay?
Yeah, sort of a little bit more treble than bass.
Yeah.
But I find it kind of the EQ on this kind of evens out wherever you are. If you've got it set relative to each other, I'm still getting very similar tones. So.
Okay, right. Help if I plugged you into the right amp.
It would. No trem on that one.
Okay. Very nice, yeah. Can I have a little go with the trem?
Yeah, the trem on it is brilliant. It's got a lovely little tremolo on it.
nice. To me, I find it'd be nice if the trem went just a hair slower for me.
Yeah, I've thought that as well myself.
I wonder. I mean, we could open it up. It's just a case of changing one of the capacitor's values. It's quite.
Oh, so that can be done, can it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because I would actually quite like it a touch slower.
Yeah.
I was jamming on it earlier today and thinking that.
Yeah. Should we try a choppier sound? I'll give you the honour. So we go a bit heavier on intensity and maybe a bit. Great. So, I mean, there's lots really for you to listen to there and look at. If anyone has any comments, please leave us some comments below. A lot of the riffs that Guy was playing there were Papa Bones stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Papa Bones and some Shadow Guys.
Great band. Definitely check out Papa Bones. And as I said before, please do subscribe to the channel. Give the video a like. And if you have any questions, we're happy to do another video on the Champ. Guy only lives around the corner, don't you?
Yeah,
so
nice and close.
If there's anything else that you'd like to see, anything else that you'd like us to compare, maybe we could put some tube screamers into it or whatever.
Yeah,
like
you could tube screamers. You could also, I've still yet to plug in a distortion into this.
Yeah.
So we're very interested in maybe use it with my Gibson, my old gold top, and see what kind of, how it handles the bass.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.